Lovely to meet you, Chloe. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you.
Congratulations on a really wonderful film.
Oh, thank you.
So maybe you could just start by telling me, what was your inspiration for this story and to make this as your second feature film?
I knew I wanted to do another one after my first one, on the reservation. So I kept going back, and I met Brady on a ranch in South Dakota on Pine Ridge, and I was very drawn to him. You don't meet young people like that very often today, who has such an authentic identity of who he is. So I was hoping the story can present itself, and it did when he got hurt last April.
And you have used, I guess, non-professional actors because it's him. It's actually his sister and his dad. Lane Scott's playing himself. What do you think the challenges and opportunities of that was? Like having to work with people who haven't been on a film set before, for example.
There's challenges. To have people say, hey, you got to show up on time. It actually matters because the sun is about to set. Things like that. More logistically, I think, to create an environment where people feel like they're on a film set but not ruin the freedom that the level of comfort they can have to give me the type of performance that we need. So that's a balance between me and my crew. We need to figure out how to be professional, actually do a narrative shoot. It's not a documentary, but at the same time still make it comfortable enough that they can be themselves, because that's what we're hoping to capture certain things. So that would be the challenge, and the opportunity is that you get to capture these authentic human interactions that I cannot write ever. I cannot dream of it. And for me, if even moving forward, if a film is 100% what I imagined it to be, I would find that a bit boring, because that's just my imagination. That's it. Where life is so much more interesting than what I can dream of.
And in the film, the location seems to be really, really crucial. There's lots of shots where, it's actually not that much dialogue, really focusing right in on Brady, or really drinking in, this American landscape.
Yeah.
So, what role did the location itself have for you in the film?
I know it's kind of cheesy to say the location's a character, but in this case, it's
true.
It is. It's about Brady. The question is, my first film, I explored similar themes. Why is this young person risking his life to keep his sense of who he is? And on a surface level, it's like, he wants to be a hero, he wants to compete in rodeos. But there's a deeper level that I see in a lot of young people out there. There is a connection to nature, to the landscape. And you feel that way when you see the storms over the Badlands, and sunset is quite an incredible experience. So that, to show the audience that, understand why riding horses across the plains is something Brady cannot let go. We cannot really convey that unless we show the landscape. Yeah.
And it seems to explore lots of really interesting themes. This idea of masculinity, of Brady's identity. This is a very profound moment where he does sort of break down in his car. But also, I guess, kind of poverty or trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
What do you think, how did you want to explore those themes, and do you think there's a message in there somewhere?
It didn't start with a message, and I studied political science in American politics in my undergraduate degree. So by default, I think maybe it's just ingrained in me to make films that are relevant to our time, but I definitely tried my best not to start with that. Because especially right now, I find it's such a divisive time. People are reduced to issues on what their religion is, what their political party is. And this is a time where I feel like, as a storyteller, we have to focus on what a human being is first. So all the theme of the stuff that we talked about, I think is great that people be able to pick that up. But that's not, I don't think, it's not something that I went in to say I want to talk about masculinity or probably in South Dakota. But I'm happy that, and I like to think this because there is enough space that's maybe we're not telling you should feel a certain way, and then the audience have the intelligence to say, oh, this is why I'm looking at the world right now, this is what I take away from the film. So I'm very happy about that.
And you had an interesting question actually in the press conference. I guess the question was kind of around diversity in filmmaking, but also as a female director, focusing so much on a male story and, like getting into this guy's psyche. So what do you think, maybe it's the wrong question because we want to be able to tell any story we want to tell, and maybe that's the point about diversity, that it's not just women make stories about women. But, what did draw you to tell a story about a guy, and what do you think you can bring that's different to that?
I went to a women's college even. I'm in Massachusetts. I think I'm a feminist. Your poster child of a feminist. But I think exactly what you just said. I think is so important to have like a different point of view, different portrayal of women in film, but also to look at how we portray male characters throughout our cinematic history, and maybe put more female gaze on men as well. I think if I were to have a boy in the future, I want him to be able to feel like it's okay for him to be vulnerable and to fail and not to be able to achieve his dreams, but he can still continue to dream and still be a hero to those around him, instead of always having to save the day or get his power back, in the typical type of stories. So I think that's very important for feminism as well.
And what's your take on diversity in filmmaking right now? Do you think that it's something that's reaching quite a good point? It's quite opening up. Different people can tell different kinds of stories. Or do you think we have some way to go to have different perspectives on the screen?
I think we have some way to go, if I'm honest. But I'm very hopeful because I do feel like there's a need for it, at least. There's whether that translates to the gatekeepers, I think it is. I think the message is pretty strong right now. And I think the important thing is I can speak as a minority female filmmaker to try to break into the mold, but at the same time not to forget why we're doing this. Because there's a danger of trying to fit in there and then change who you are to end up telling the same kind of stories just to get ahead in that industry that's already molded towards the white male. So it's hard. You have to stand your ground.
And then to come to this incredible film festival, what does it mean to you for your film to be part of this film festival? What excites you about this being created?
One, I'm a huge fan of Zhang-ke, not just his work, but him as a filmmaker, what he stands for, what kind of things he supports. Secondly, I'm Chinese. My citizenship is still Chinese, even though a lot of people think I'm Chinese American because of the kind of films I make. So I am still Chinese, and I'm so proud that there's a boutique, like a small, intimate, independent film festival like this that now exists in China. I'm sure there's others, but I think this is a really big one. I did not know what to expect when I came. I think it's maintained culturally something very specifically Chinese, and yet it's very international. And I think that is something Cannes, Venice, and Sundance were able to do. But I'm glad we kind of have something like that, and I really believe this is going to continue. It's going to do really well. And for the young people in China, for the young filmmakers, for the next generation, I think it's a gigantic step for Chinese cinema.
Because it's almost like there's like a two-way street happening where you want to bring more Asian cinema to the kind of international scene, but then also bringing international films to people here in China.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So do you see that there's that two-way thing happening here?
100%. And that kind of cultural exchange, this festival, I mean, look at where we are. You know, I never been to Pingyao. I'm not Chinese. But this is to bring people from all over the world. I mean, Venice is kind of like a little bit like that, you know, that kind of cultural exchange, to have people see China a certain way and the other way around is so invaluable. And again, to have young Chinese filmmakers to be exposed to the most recent art house cinema all over the world, and instead of waiting for another year or never see it. It's maybe this privilege every young person in Paris take for granted. Yeah, I have a couple things I'm working on, and I'm excited. I have another third installment of South Dakota Prairie trilogy film. You know, I have another one, and then I have a historic western set in the Indian Territory in America. And I'm working on a sci-fi idea set in the northwest of China.
I was going to ask that. I was like, oh, you're so drawn to these kind of American stories. You know, would you ever kind of look back home? So
I think that the country isn't the thing that I'm thinking of, but more like I'm interested in exploring people in nature. Mm-hmm. So the southwest of China is incredibly beautiful, and so it's more about that, I think.
Well, fantastic.
Thank you.
Congratulations again on a wonderful film, and thanks so much for speaking with us.
Thank you. Glad you're here.